Well, joining us tonight, just back from Davos, where he was traveling with the president and where President Trump was a big hit among the world leaders, the globalist elites, National Economic Council Director Larry Kudlow, back from the high mountains and tall cotton. Larry, what's it like to be back talking just to a regular fellow like me?
Lou, it's always good to talk to you, especially after Davos and the so-called global elites. I love that stuff. But, you know, let me tell you, President was on the top of his game and gave a brilliant speech to the crowd. And he really carried the day with his optimism and his emphasis on economic growth, what he called the American model of free enterprise, talking about this blue collar boom that we're having, right, where the middle and lower wage earners have the fastest wage growth, outstripping the managers. The stock market boom, you know, the increase in consumer wealth, it's the bottom 50% that got almost half of the increase. The top 1% got only 13%. 3.5% unemployment rate, and you go down every demographic category at virtually historic lows, all the minority groups and so forth, even the millennials are working. I mean, I think it's just interesting to me. You were talking before about impeachment and all of that.
I'm glad I got a few words in earlier.
It's like the folks on the other side of the aisle will do anything not to talk about this economy and the blue-collar boom. Right. And I just want to say, you know, their cognitive dissonance at some point is going to have to give way to
Did you just
facts.
say they're dumb as hell?
I just said their cognitive dissonance is going to have to give way, Lou, to the facts. And we presented the facts at Davos, and we will continue to present the facts here in the USA. And yes, sir, it's great to be home.
Well, and I am delighted I asked, and I appreciate that succinct concision. Let's turn to a couple of things which impress me mightily, and I know impress people, in fact, around the world. That is, those globalist elites, whether in government or whether business, had to stand back and say, holy mackerel, as globalist elites are wont to do. What this president has done in 3 years. These are the same people who said he would be a disaster for the markets, that he didn't know what he was talking about the economy, that he would somehow completely foul up America's long track record of brilliant foreign policy. Most recently, the most recent example, of course, was Barack Obama's patience and passivity. I mean, this is a president who has come full circle with these people who just were his most vicious critics, and they have now got to take a long, hard look at what he termed the American model of success.
You know, it's interesting on this because we visited with a lot of the CEOs at several dinners and lunches and whatnot. You know, probably a couple hundred CEOs.
Right.
And what I heard again and again was, oh, I had no idea of the facts. I had no idea of the achievement. I think
they're being honest.
Well, actually, there's something to that. I mean, it's this, again, this cognitive dissonance that's running around in the country with bad information. And I'm glad that in the speech we put a lot of facts in. The president, you know, loves to deal with facts and lay it out. On growth, on unemployment, on the blue-collar wage boom, on the stock market, which is a sign of great business and consumer confidence and a better economy to come, on the trade deals with China, USMCA, Japan, and Korea, and as you noted earlier, perhaps a trade deal with the United Kingdom, or even negotiating in earnest with Europe, so that the president's very tough negotiating style to stop unfair trading practices and his effort to defend the American worker is paying off. And it's like, I guess they don't read, well, maybe they do read the papers. Maybe that's the problem, but they just
You're still talking about the CEOs, right?
I'm talking about the CEOs.
They have their own staffs who are required to provide them with the most recent data on macro and micro throughout our economy and throughout the markets in which they labor. I mean, it's stunning to think that they would get their information from the Chamber of Commerce or the Business Roundtable rather than in the real world in which they have to work.
Well, that's why I think the president's speech was so important. And you know what, Lou? I've never been to Davos before.
You haven't?
I've never been. I've avoided it like the plague. They're not my peeps, okay? Yeah. They're just not. But I'm glad I went this year because, first of all, I was proud to be by his side. He did carry the day. Yep. Second of all, I got in my own conversations to emphasize the facts of the matter. And I think that's very important. And I think a lot of those folks have become Trump supporters. But again, he's just real simple. The American model. So what did we do? Lower taxes, massive rollback of costly regulations that damage business, energy independence, and successful trade deals and negotiations to stop unfair trading practices, which has damaged everybody: workers, manufacturers, autos, farmers, technology people with just the simple program to create economic growth.
And don't forget the importance of those tariffs, which those very same CEOs in Davos had said would disrupt and destroy our markets and our economy and preempt any possibility of growth and prosperity. And in fact, they have been an important tool to restoring exactly those goals that this president set back in 2015 for himself and his campaign. Larry Kudlow.
I agree. By the way, on this point, I agree. I think the president has taught us how to negotiate.
Hey, you work for the man. You better agree.
I agree, and as you know, I promoted it. But again, he carried the day, and during the course of this election season, the facts will win out.
Yep.
And that's going to be our card.
And we live by that very, very same set of values: facts, facts, and facts. That's why we get along so well, Larry.
Oh, it's been a long time. It's my pleasure. No, my pleasure to come back. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Thanks so much.